we have a very special guest right now. She is, every time when I first asked her to do a couple of breakouts, everybody came up to me and said, this woman is amazing. You have to get her to do more breakouts because it's unbelievable what she teaches. She basically teaches you, she's Raven, the Talk Show Maven, but she teaches you how to actually make money on radio shows. A lot of people have radio shows, and the biggest complaint is, I have this radio show and I don't make money. Well, then listen to Raven Blair Davis.
It might seem crazy what I'm about to say. Sometimes she feels you can take a break. Hot air balloon never goes fast. With the air, like I don't care, baby, by the way. Because clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Here come bad news, talking this and that. Give me all you got, don't hold back. I should call you
All right.
You got the power. There is power in your voice. A powerful message deep inside of you. Say, I got the power. I can't hear you. Yes, you do. And it's all inside of you. You see, I'm going to walk you down the timeline so you can understand why I'm so passionate about radio. And if you haven't thought about radio or interviews, I hope my story will have you giving it a second thought. At the age of 13, emotionally abused child, I always had big dreams. I used to tell my dad to build me a stage because I want to be a star. I listened to the radio, used to sneak to the radio station. Age 40. The radio dream circle shrunk. How many of you that had big dreams when you were little and it shrunk because of life happenings? Well, been through a couple emotional abuse marriages. One time I found myself in a closet looking at a gun, wondering, was my life that important? Because I was so scared of him. Timeline moving up, age of 55. Working a part-time job, 20 hours a week, 10 hours, $10 rather, a day, an hour. All of a sudden, mother says she had to go to the hospital, have an operation. The doctors thought she'd be out in 10 days. She was in her mid-70s. She was in there for 3 weeks, just in the ICU. Have you ever been going along life, living it day to day, settling, unstuck, frustrated, disappointed? Anyone been there? Let me see your hands. Not knowing where you're going to go, but believing that you had a deep purpose, you just didn't know why. All of a sudden, you're doing every day, going, to work, doing what you do, and all of a sudden, life stops. Anyone been there? See, Mother was there, and what I've seen in her eyes was not, am I going to make it? But what's going to happen to my 55-year-old and 58-year-old, who was my sister, daughters, who ain't got a pot to piss in. Doesn't that sound like Mom's? Because that was true. Remember, I was only making $10 an hour, working 20 hours a week at the age of 55. I had to make a quick decision because I didn't see Mother worried about her. I seen Mother worried about us. And even though I didn't agree all the time with how she raised us, I knew she did what she thought was good. And so I pushed past the pain that I had as a child and carried because Mom knew me. And it was time for me to step up, show up, stand up for what I believed in and cared about, and grow up. Ouch. That's the one that hurts, doesn't it? When you're faced, as Michael Jackson said, looking at the man or the woman in the mirror, and you're faced with who you really are and where you're at that moment. That's when you need to make a decision. Everybody say decision. Decision. And I didn't have long because I felt inside that Mother was going to be okay, but I felt also that she was going to really need me, that she was going to be different, and that if you can't help yourself, you can't help nobody else if you can't help yourself, right? If you keep doing what you're doing, you're going to what? Get the same thing. And so in that chapel, my God spoke to me and he said, you're going to use the gift I gave you to gab. And you're going to use those ears to listen more than you talk. And I heard a great man by the name of Alex Mendosian say, the quickest way to become an expert is to interview other experts. I heard him interview a guy by the name of Rick Fishman that said, instead of doing teleseminars, which is what I signed up for Alex for, he said, I do podcasts, and you don't have to have an FCC license. And I interview all the celebrities in the world. Remember, I always wanted to be a star. So I figured if I couldn't be one, next thing is to interview them. I'm coming for you. Yeah. And so I listened. I showered and I stayed at the hospital for 3 weeks and watched Mom in the ICU unit. And she moved from the unit to the ward. And I said, okay. I told the nurses, I'm going to start a radio show. And it's going to empower baby moving women just like me who want more out of life and are determined to get it. And I Googled how to start a podcast, how to interview people. And I stayed on that computer. And when Mother slept, because I watched them during the day, I was like, what you doing? What you doing to my mom? Explain. Don't ever drop someone off at the hospital and think it's just a routine. Promise me that, okay? Watch what they're doing. You see, I lost my dad from mistakes, so I wasn't about to lose Mother for the same mistakes because I was too busy living my life. I couldn't oversee her. Very important. So what I did, I got so excited, they got excited, and that's a lesson. If you get excited, what'll happen? Absolutely. And they said, you know what? You can use the hospital, the computers behind our desk when everybody's gone at night. And I did my research. Mother ended up being there from 3 weeks to 6 months. She was able to get out the hospital in a wheelchair. But while she was there, I listened and I read Unstoppable by Cynthia Kersey, great book. It gave me hope. I listened to Les Brown say, you got to be hungry for your success. And I was hungry. Not for me, but my mom. So what's your why? What's your why? And so 8 weeks after that, that was February 6, 2006. Oh, maybe it was more than 8 weeks. Somebody figured it out for me, so next time I tell this story, I have the exact number. April 23rd, 2006, I launched my first show from the kitchen table, and it was called Women Power. A year later, I got my first award, and I barely had a handful of listeners. Lesson: you don't need a lot of listeners. Just focus on your message and your purpose for your show. Someone emailed me and said, congratulations on the award. I said, what? Another guy heard an interview I did with Jane Kennedy, beautiful Jane Kennedy. She was the Halle Berry back in the day, wasn't she? Yes. And they said, I don't know how I found you, but I found you. I love that interview. When you come on my station, WARL-AM, in Rhode Island and co-host the show with me, he liked it so much, he gifted me a spot on air. And then a year later, I got an award as a talk show host over there, beating out Sally Jesse Raphael. I went on to create Careers from the Kitchen Table, which got an award. Women Power ended up getting 2. Went to CNN and CBS, and yes, invested, paid $500 a week so that I could have the privilege to always have that CNN, CBS. So now I went from a person in the hospital, not knowing where she was going to do at 55, to becoming an award-winning, multi-award-winning talk show host, interviewing celebrities all over, CNN, CBS radio personality, and finally, I learned how to make money. Zig Ziglar says, if you help enough people get what they want, what'll happen? Do you believe that? That's what I held on to. I'm going to give a couple books away, so keep the paper going around, please. So I'm going to put on my glasses. It's time not to look cute anymore. Thank you. Because Craig wants me to give you some money tips. But I always like to take a moment to share my story. Because facts tell, stories tell. Your story is always important. And I honor my mom whenever I share that story because she passed away February 6, 2012. But not without seeing her 55-year-old daughter. At that time, I just turned 63. So I guess I was 61 when she passed. And she seen me make a complete turn because I was hungry. Not for me, but for her. And I learned to own the voice I had inside. Write down, own your voice. Be authentic at all times. And so I learned through my interviews and through radio how to speak out my pain to my power so I can live my purpose with a definite purpose. And all the people I wanted to interview, I created what we call a vision board. If you don't have one, and you're a radio host, business owner, you want to do interviews, create a vision board. And we focused on that vision board. And I picked up what most of you would call the phone. I call it a receiver. Say, I will start picking up the receiver. You see, when you pick up the receiver, you're looking for people to receive the information that you want to pass on to them. So it will be a win-win for them and a win-win for you because of the offer. And so every day, I ask God to take my hand and connect it with the right person that's waiting on the other end of the receiver to receive the information that I know they're hungry for, or they're thirsty for. And I got the answer. I'm just looking for the right person that he has virtually connected and spiritually connected my hand with. Do you see where I'm going? My life and my business completely turned around when I took the focus off of making money and put the focus on bettering me and going after clearly identifying the transformation that my listeners or clients or readers was thirsty and hungry to receive. And so I'm going to share with you real quickly my insider secrets to powering up your show and interviews. 9 powerful and profitable P's. Now, I have a lot of these P's, and I don't have time, so I'm going to go through 9, and only a few of them I'm going to go deep. So you ready?
Ready.
P1, passion. Passion is so important to display your passion when you're on the air, because your listeners don't just need to hear from you, they need to feel your words. Let me hear you say feel. Yes. So if you're just speaking to them, that's one reason you're not making money, because they need to feel your words. Because that's how they become a steady listener that converts to a fan that will convert to a buyer. On that paper that I have you passing around, that's one of the free gifts I'm gifting you in an MP3 format, turning listeners into fans and fans into buyers. How many of you would love to know how to do that? Whether you're doing a telesummit or a teleseminar, you need to draw them in. When you're sitting at your desk doing your radio show on Rockstar Radio Network, amazing network, you guys got the Cadillac of the network. I have a network, it ain't the Cadillac, it's the Pinto, but they got me. and I have masterminds, and I love being in Craig's because I can share what I share to my listeners all the time with you. So you want to know my secrets on how I get guests and everything? When I'm sitting in that chair, whether it's at my kitchen table or my studio, I'm there to make sure that listener feels my words. I'm there to make sure that my guests feel like they're on the red carpet without their feet touching it. And when I'm talking to them, I'm sitting in there, and I'm not in Amazing Women of Power, Raven's studio, home studio, or studio at Regis Building, or at the kitchen table. I'm in MSNBC, CNN, or CBS chair, and I'm carrying that power with me. Do you get that? If you sit there like you're at a kitchen table or office radio, it will come out that way. From now on, feel the power. Say, I feel the power. And you're speaking it with your words, and they're feeling what you're saying. When they feel it, they will move to take action. Passion. Who's got passion? Absolutely. Purpose. I shared the story of my mom because I wanted you to see. I hear so many people say, I want a radio show, but it's too much work, it's this and this. You are looking at someone that a few years ago was looking at a gun, trying to decide whether they were going to live and what was the purpose. Someone that was so scared to talk, now y'all know you can't shut me up. But I couldn't find the why in me for living, but I found the why in my mom. There's an old saying that if you're not moving fast enough and steady and fierce enough in your business, your why is not strong enough. You see, you just can't go to Craig's network and say, I got a radio show. What's the purpose of it? You know what? If it's a short purpose and you just want to go and build fame, do it. But be clear of what you want and make sure you get what you want. So understand your purpose and know your why will get you through the struggles, the challenges, the setbacks, the adversities, and all the rejection that you will receive. No may receive, you will, because that's part of life. Personality. When you hear people talking about radio hosts, what do they say? Radio what? Then how come we don't have one on the radio? Okay. Personality. God gave it to you. Let it shine like the sun. Don't worry about who's going to like you. I mean, people probably say, this girl's 63 years old and dancing up the aisle. Yeah. Show you right. It took me years to feel free to be me. Say, free to be me. And you got a platform that's not local, that's global. You got people all over the doing your podcast, your radio, your telesummit. Technology has made it so easy for you. It's easy breezy. You just got to have that mindset to succeed and give yourself permission to succeed. Say yes. Yes. I give myself permission to succeed. And as the great Lisa Nichols says, no matter what. That means you know it's going to be some good, some bad, and some darn right ugly along the journey. But you're going to embrace it. So wow them with your personality, both your listeners and your guests. Positioning. You need to position yourself as an expert in what you do. You want to position your show for being what they want by letting them know what your show offers. So make sure your tagline is very clear and not confusing. Position your audience. Let them know. If you are stuck in a rut and you're disappointed and your dreams don't seem to happen, then you are tuned in to the right place. Because Women Power Talk Radio is going to show you how to get more life out of living and more living out of life. And that no matter what your age or what your dream, it can come true if you believe it. Because each and every week we're going to share with you unstoppable women of power that are here, and they're going to let you know how they went from their power to their pain and give you some strategies to let you know that you can do it too. Is that a clear message? Your listeners want to know what they're coming for. Promote. Well, let's go to preparation. Research. I research so much, I've gotten better being with Khalid because he really researches. You need to research. How do you do that quick and effectively? First thing you're going to do, if you know you have guests, you're going to go to their website. How many of you go to their website? This is what you're going to get. This is what you need to look for. Look at their event page. Of course, you're going to look at their bio. Look at their product page. And then get off of there and go Google what organization causes, benefits, what's close to them. Now, I don't wait to do this for the show. I do this when I'm going to ask for the interview. I'm looking for that one little thing that's going to catch their attention and say, wow, she did her homework. Got it? When you're doing your show, be prepared. Have the questions ahead of time. Have them send the questions and ask them, do you have an affiliate link on any products or services? What can I do for you? I feel blessed to have this opportunity to interview you. Got it? Promote. This is the one that gets me. Everybody comes to the station and they expect Craig and me and all the other owners of stations to promote your show. Obviously, we're going to do our part. But you've got to, this is where the grow up and show up part comes in. It's your show. You just happen to be on our network. You're there promoting our network, but you're promoting you. You're building you. You're building your brand. Tim, the information on blog, check him out. There's so many different ways you can promote your show. Tweet and Facebook. Promote. Let me hear you say promote. Don't just say it, mean it. Here's the one we want to get to the money. Make your show being profitable a priority. Not a maybe, not an if, but a priority. Now, this information I'm sharing with you doesn't matter if you have a radio show or a podcast, a web TV show, or if you're just doing Google Hangouts or telesummits or webinars. All this works the same. What's your profit plan? I call it because I'm doing radio, I call it my RSSP, my Radio Success Strategy Plan. Or my interview, ISSP, my Interview Success Strategy Plan. I have a clear map, and I'm getting ready to share it to you. I'm going to share you some out of my 17 ways as a talk show host to make money. I'm going to give you 9. And then you got to package it up. Don't just say you get a commercial, or you get an interview, or I'm looking for sponsors. Package that bad boy up. If you want to go see some examples, because I don't have time to go into it, go to careersfromthekitchentable.com and look on the advertise page. And yes, you have my permission to revamp it to fit you. Pricing. Okay. You have a radio show, not a podcast, and not an internet radio show. You know why? Because it puts more value. People don't really like paying for podcasts. Paying for podcasts. It's a new media word. It's great. I have podcasts, but I speak radio. I never say I have an internet radio or internet radio station unless they ask. Because I want to build the value of it because I know I'm going for the money. So don't shoot yourself in the foot on that. Okay, so let me give you real quickly 9 ways to make money with your show. Craig, do I have 5 minutes left to go through here?
Exactly.
Okay, cool. First of all, think outside the box. I'm going to give you some ideas, but I want you to even take them further. And remember, you must become a master marketer to create income. So this is my Talk to Cash blueprint for talk show hosts, radio show hosts, Google Hangout hosts, Telesummit hosts. Convert free guests to paid guests. That's number 1. Convert free guests to paid guests. Now you say, well, Raven, how can I do that? Well, let me give you a real quick, easy, breezy way because I got time to give you 1 on this. And that is, do the interview for free. I don't do this, but we'll give this to you. And sell them the audio to the interview. Hold on to it for 10 days. Don't give it away. Okay? At least let them pay for the audio. Okay? Well, I thought the interview was free. It is. I interviewed them. We're talking about the audio. That's a whole nother thing. Yeah. Better recognize. Understand this. My radio show is my business. See, my radio show is my business? Not a hobby. Commercials, 30, 45 seconds, and 60 seconds. Don't do 1. Package them up in 12, 24, so you can get some good money on it. Again, you can go to Careers from the Kitchen Table and see my pricing. I don't do a lot of commercials. I package it up with the interviews. Membership site. Have them at least pay $20 or something for the membership site to get the download of the audio replay. Add a transcript to package it up. And maybe even some of your action notes. Products. Everybody knows about the books, the audios, and the CDs. I have a book, I didn't bring it with me, called Careers from the Kitchen Table, and it features 55 stories of everyday people like me. People pay me $5.97 to be in that book, or either they get it as a bonus for being a host or for buying an interview. So either way, I'm getting paid for it. My first year, I made $40,000 off that one book before it hit the book stand. What I did on the cover is I took my top 6 people that I interviewed, well-known names, and I put them on the cover, and I put in there in the beginning of the book, these are interviews from WARL, Careers from the Kitchen Table, Women Power. Oprah has a master class, why can't you? Okay? Create a master class series. Segments. I've had people do, on my Women Power show, I've sold Baby Boomer Diva segments, 2-minute segments. And in my career show, I've sold business news you can use segments. And I've sold those segments where they come on every week and they pay a minimum of $200 for 2 minutes. And they have their own segment. The more time they want, the more they will. So if you're having a problem paying for your show, Sell a segment. All they have to do is record it, send you the recorded, you plop it in. Affiliate links, make sure all your guests that have affiliate links, if you're promoting something, get that affiliate link. And backstage listening parties. You have a clubhouse or a place you can invite 20, 50 people in, call it your radio show backstage listening party. Have somebody to interview there or play some of your other interview and break it out. Turn it into a roundtable discussion. Charge them $20, $25. They love it. That's turning listeners into fans and fans into buyers. Last thing, taking the listeners, turning them into fans and buyers is so easy. You want to carry that listener that's become a fan into a buyer, and that means you have to lead them, be the leader they're looking for, and lead them and offer them an opportunity to spend time with you and have a strategy session. And then that's when you're going to close them for your high ticket item. I want one person to stand up real quick and tell me one thing they're going to take and do, and I have broadcast your passion. Who's ready? Anybody? Tim. There you go. Broadcast your passion. All right. I have one other person. I think he popped up first. I'm sorry. Go ahead. There you go. You got a plan for it? If you look in the back page of this book, as I close out, 1 second, I want to share one thing with you before I close out. Like I said, my mom did pass away. See if I can find that. Yes, I was a caregiver. But she didn't pass away without me taking one of her mini poems and putting it in this book. And so before she died, I made sure that she was what I call a published poet. And this is a picture of her. She's beautiful. She was beautiful. And she wrote this poem called Many Dreams. As distant as it may seem, life is full of many dreams. And if destiny had its way, we would look forward to a brighter day. There would be no more sorrow, there would be no more pain, and no more misgiving that we could not explain. So we dream of what we might have been to bring us to a perfect end. But someone is watching us from above, and that someone fills our heart with glorious love. And what we find in him is so true, a big wide world that's all brand new, filled with gratitude, love, and delights, laughter, and sunshine. What a wonderful, wonderful sight. My mama says, life is full of many dreams, and this is the dream I dreamt tonight. Oh, how sweet tomorrow will be, a brand new world for you and me. Emily Blair. I want to close by saying, be committed. Remember, you are sitting in CNN, CBS, your favorite station's chair, and you're picking up that receiver, and you're making what I call gold calls. Not cold calls, gold calls. I got that from Barclay Fisher, my very first mentor. And always remember, there's going to be some people that's not going to understand what you do. And one day they're going to pass you, and you're going to be huge with your radio show. And they're going to say, wow, I wish I had listened. And you're going to say, yeah, wow, I'm glad I did. Because you did what Jerry Rice says, and carry this and have this with you. It'll get you through the struggles as I close out. I will do today what others won't, so I can live the life that I dream about, the life that I aspire to have, like others can. My name is Raven, the Talk Show Maven. Thank you very much.
Very very awesomely awesome.